You and me have a score to settle.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Jurassic Shark 3, SEAVENGE. And this 2023 film was directed by Mark Polonia and stars Jada Sanchez, Tim Hatch, and Kyle Rappaport, among others, of course. The story of this movie is that the Jurassic Shark is back, and he's looking for some revenge. We also have human characters, of course. We have this model and her agent, and they are filming some type of intro for a reality show. And so they have kind of decided to do it on a boat. So they are, of course, on the water. Then we also have this gang of 3 criminals, and they are looking for this painting that some other criminals like threw into the ocean. And so they kind of hijack the model's boat, and now they're all out at sea. Of course, everything goes wrong, and now they are at the whims of the Jurassic Shark. What will happen though? Well, you have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this film. Well, with this one, of course it's done by Mark Polonia, which is a talking point for sure. Mark Polonia, if you don't know, welcome to the channel. I assume it's your first time here. He is a very prolific kind of B-movie director, and he makes kind of like the lowest budget movies, and they're all so low budget, like every single time. And nothing particularly gets better as he learns the directing trade. But I would say he's really kind of made low budget stuff into an art form. And this one certainly has that artistic quality to it, where you do have to take leaps of imagination in order to, go along with the story. And that certainly is in here. And so even though it is low budget, which is nothing new on this channel, it's fine for being a low budget one. Mark Polonia movie, I actually think it's in the upper half of his work. I haven't seen everyone, but I kind of know his style. I think Leo just watched one, what was it? Cocaine Shark or something like that. And I imagine this one is probably a little bit better. It does have that Jurassic Shark 3, so they're continuing on with an idea. The problem does go with it where Mark Polonia has like a stable of actors, so he always uses the same, 5, 6 actors, and they're all in here, and they're all playing different characters from the last ones. I haven't actually seen the last ones in true, professional amateur style. I did, flick through them, watch, 10 minutes here or whatever, and the actors were in it playing different characters, of course. And so that is something not to really concern yourself about. It is Mark Polonia's style to not really worry about this type of stuff, about the how it all kind of fits together. And so all the actors are there, and that's also funny where it's the same actors in all Mark Polonia movies. So I do enjoy them, I gotta say. I'll get to them in a moment, but yeah, so it's just a Mark Polonia film where you gotta know what you're walking into with this type of stuff. And I certainly did, even though I hadn't seen, the first 2. I think the first one wasn't even directed by Mark Polonia as well, but he certainly has his hand in this one, and it just certainly shines through. And as for the actors, I gotta say, I really did enjoy their performances, even though they are not very good actors. I will say that. The main thing that I liked was the criminals, and I just think they have such good chemistry. I know I see them every time in a Mark Polonia movie, but they're just so fun to watch. You have the guy with the voice, and his voice is just so humorous. I just chuckle with every time he says a line. You have the guy with the beard, and he's like the straight man of the group. And then you have the woman, and her character in this one is just so reckless that you have to laugh along with her. She's just great that way. And then their interactions with each other are just so funny as well. So they bring a lot of the comedy to this movie. There are other characters, of course, and they do what they gotta do for the comedy. They aren't particularly good actors either. I know I'm gonna say all of this, like, again, in the bad one, but I thought their acting was just so funny that I have to put it in this section. In addition, there is the use of CGI. Of course, you can't have like a Jurassic Shark, running around. And this one, it's done to the standard I would assume Mark Polonia would do. I would actually say a little bit better. There are some times where like it starts off with like an establishing shot with like some CGI, and you're like, oh, this like is terrible. Like this can't get worse or anything like that. And then I swear the next cut is worse than what you just saw. I'll try to clip it in here if I can find it.
So weird.
And so that was the part, but I know I shouldn't be including it in the good part. I just laughed throughout this whole movie. Like, there's just so many wacky things that happen, especially with the shark and everything that goes along with it, where you just can't help but laugh at what you see. And I absolutely enjoyed it for that quality. Also, there is some creative editing in this one because the CGI shark is not always CGI. Sometimes it's like a little rubber puppet and it comes up and, bites the lens. And that's supposed to show someone getting eaten. And so there is also that creative editing aspect to it where all of it together makes for a ridiculous watch. And I think, bad movie fans will enjoy this one. And lastly, the third act certainly subverted my expectations. Something happens and you kind of think that all Mark Polonia movies are kind of connected in some way. I'm not going to give it away or anything like that, but it does open up thoughts for the future about how he could incorporate all his different movies together. And that was, I don't know, just a very interesting way of subverting expectations. I always love it when something surprises me. So that was just so surprising in the end what happens. And you're just like, wow, like that took a left turn. Like that was absolutely crazy. And so it's things like this that certainly add to this movie and just adds that final KO punch that really knocks it out of the park for me. And that brings me to what doesn't work in this movie. Well, I should have included everything I said in the good half in this one. The acting is bad, but again, I find it so hilarious. And these actors, I don't know. I find that one guy's voice fascinating. I find that woman fascinating as well. I find the other things, the CGI is, again, terrible in this one, but it's just a low budget one. You gotta use your imagination or just accept it for what it is. And so nothing, too hard if you've ever seen one of these movies. But there is one thing that I thought was particularly atrocious, and that is that they are clearly on a lake. You can see it in the pictures, everything I've been showing you, if I've been overlaying images, right? They're in a lake, clearly. You can always see the shoreline, but they pretend they're at the sea or in the sea. And so there's no island in sight, even though it's very clear, like you're on a lake. There's the shore, no matter which direction you go, that's the shore. But they're talking about where's the land? Oh, look, there's a little island over there, let's start going. And you're like, but there's land everywhere around you, you're on a lake. And I think that was the biggest jump in imagination that you have to do in order to entertain the idea of this movie. And so that was just one of those things where the visual aspect of it just certainly did not match up at all. Even if you were in a big lake, you don't even have to see the other side all the time, right? Or the other side is so tiny that you don't even recognize it. But this one is just in a small lake. So you're just okay, let's just use our imagination. And so all of it goes into this one to make, a Mark Polonia movie. And so, yeah, not particularly good, but for a bad movie lover, I think this one is going to give you quite a few chuckles. As for my recommendation, well, if you're looking for something to laugh at, this might be for you. If you haven't seen the first two movies, yeah, that's actually probably for the best, to tell you the truth. So if you are, a bad movie lover, that you love to laugh at these things, then this is something to turn on for sure. As for rating, well, I'll give it a 3.4 because I thought it was hilariously bad. That score is also just for kind of the general audience. I think if you're a Mark Polonia fan, I would probably give this one a 6. I think it's better than some of the other ones I've watched from him, that's for sure. Above average, if you will. There was one, what was it? Sharkula, that had some sound quality problems, and this one he's fixed it all, so I was pleasantly surprised with that. So yeah, a 6 on kind of that bad movie scale. But yeah, with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say, or is it? You'll have to come back again and see if I have something else to say. And yeah, like and subscribe, and I guess see you next time.